Now, what better reason is there to wake up early in the morning to play Go, other than to record the random opening series? I can't find any. Alright, so this is actually our 18th game for the regular Chinese opening, and to celebrate, we're gonna end off the 3Den adventures with a double symmetric Chinese opening. I was actually trying to get black for this last game on 3Dan, but I just couldn't. For some reason, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but a lot of people on Fox just resign right when they get white. So this nigiri stuff, it's kind of pointless. Might as well let people choose, because they pretty much just resign every time, which is pretty frustrating, actually. Huh. Looks like I accidentally got myself into a very intense fight. Ooh, just had a huge siren outside, so I had to cut out a lot of that, so you don't have to, so you can save your ears. Alright, so let's go back to the fight. It's a kind of poor shape for white, actually, because there's a weakness right here. I kind of want to just get this out of the way, because just so that I don't have to worry about this weakness right here. And then I'm going to come back to net the center 2 stones. There's also the left side. There is a big urge to attack the left side. I think I'm just going to capture these. Yeah, should be fine. I was just looking at black trying to push out. At the moment, it looks like it's working, but white can actually consume me, and because of the forcing moves on the left side, that should be still doable. Oh man, I'm feeling rusty. This is not good. This is not good. Alright. Yeah, this turn is huge, but here black's not alive on the left side. This group black has to deal with. Now there's an interesting observation here. In this game, I actually paused for maybe 2 minutes or so. And what I've noticed is that my opponent's rhythm is actually much slowed. I think that's really interesting because, as you guys have noticed recently, in all of the 3Den plays, pretty much every single player was blitzing. And now, the only way to stop them from blitzing, I guess, is me playing slower, or just pausing for a little bit. And yeah, I guess something like that just works. It's an empirical observation. Playing a very direct move here because I want to just get out. I don't want to force the other 2 stones because black is very empty here. On the lower side, though, the chances of me invading is not very big, and also black doesn't have that much territory. I can still play a jump here, or a knight's move if I want to reduce it. So the lower side isn't very big right now. There's actually 2 very different options right now for white. There's playing a knight's move in the center. To expand the center, cut the black stone off. That would be consistent with my moves here. The second option is to just approach black and to divide off black's upper right territory. I think, yeah, they're two completely different games, and I think both are okay. So in the game, I decided to approach, and now I think I'm just okay with the 3-2 invasion. Black's not very efficient here, especially after exchanging this third line push. Huh. That's definitely surprising because black doesn't have a stone on the upper side. And actually, since black also has a stone on the bottom here, extending and Hane is a very natural way to respond. And then I can just extend. Or play over here in the center. I feel like connecting actually. Probably a bit greedy, but right now after connecting I can actually play another forcing move in the middle to keep pressuring black. So yeah, I'm gonna get another forcing move here. These moves to connect the center I think is pretty big. There's a decent amount of moyo here. Although I am risking a little bit by tanuking this move because the corner, well, my corner is pretty empty. Okay, but our opponent just solved that problem for us because this knight's move does help us solidify this, which means I don't really have anything to worry about anymore. And that means after a one space jump here, if black blocks, then I can just jump in. If black plays here, I can just jump in here. So I might even be able to play one more move. Let me get this exchange first because there's this peep here. I think that could be very annoying. I'm playing a very direct move this game. Kind of seemingly by chance, all these very direct moves seem to be my first choice, which is actually kind of rare. I usually don't play these very direct moves where it's really clear what you're trying to do. Okay, well, black is trying to get into our moyo. I was thinking about some potential responses, but since I didn't really find a really comfortable response, and since black doesn't have a good follow-up here, I decided to just not play. Okay, let me just extend a few more times then. Oh wow. My opponent picked a very loose move. I can already see a lot of potential issues with this connection. Definitely black should have extended. Actually descended first. Black is getting in here. This is something. This is a consequence that I must deal with from tanuking earlier. I have to make sure that my group is alive. That's extremely important. Otherwise, black getting in here would become a very big issue. I don't know if there's any actual value in cutting off this group, but okay, now there's an actual value because I managed to capture these 3 stones. But if black connected and I have to Atari, pretty sure black was already alive. Yeah. But at this point, we're just so ahead in territory that I don't think there is much. Yeah, this is definitely not a close game now. All black has is the lower side. Oh, black responded, so I can actually get one more move here. The reason why I haunted here was because there is a placement move that would have reduced my territory. And that was actually a pretty big weakness. Can I get a Hane in? I guess it's not needed right now. Okay, let's just connect here. I think this is a very good example of a very clear game. It's it's the fight on the left side was quite difficult at first, but then since black didn't really escape the 2 stones, what happened after was pretty easy to deal with. And after white captured the 2 stones in the middle, I think this game was very smooth. So we invaded in the lower right. We also just approached and just grabbed a lot of territory. Also at the same time, kept in mind that of black's moyo and prevented black from making those moyos. So the clamp here was a good timing because right after black caught, there was this Atari Sente, and that allowed us to clip. Oh wow, my opponent didn't even save the 2 stones on the bottom. These 2 stones definitely seem bigger in terms of the territory. Alright. Well, it looks like we've got this game in the bag now, and it's a relatively long one, I think, for a 3-dan game. But yep, now our regular Chinese account is going to officially rank up to 5-dan. One more to our name.
Upgrade successfully. Congratulations.
Okay, we managed to clean up that game, and if you notice at the end there, I was managed to capture my opponent's dragon in the middle, since they weren't paying attention. Let's roll the next opening. I was gonna say, give me a 0, but it hasn't worked for a while. Why should it work now? Okay, let's go to double 4-6. It seems like we've been getting this account quite a lot recently. Got 3 games on 5D already. Yeah, the amount of salt I've been getting with this 4-6 opening is oh, come on. Okay, well, I guess this will be an interesting game. We'll see what happens. Is my opponent gonna resign like in a few more moves before 10? That's what I'm guessing. I highly doubt they will actually continue this game. Wow, okay, we're actually gonna play it on like this. That is very interesting. Okay. Well, I'm pretty happy with this because I'm taking all the corners. Oh, finally. Okay. I think I might still be able to make the invasion. This is gonna be like the... it's gonna be a crazy game. What is this? So, my opponent is countering my double 4-6 opening with... What is this? An 8-6? No, a 4-8. 4-8s. Alright. We'll see how it goes. Okay, they block there, which is definitely good for black. Because I connect to the more important stone. Yeah, I think I'll just extend here. I'll let my opponent get this move because I think the bottom is also very important. And I'm very happy with this result. White spent... it's equivalent to white taking the corner first, but black is much better off compared to white here. I can just answer this very simply because there's a very big move on the right side. If white plays the tiger's mouth here, black will get the right side. Huh. They're just gonna let me connect this back. Whoa. I was gonna cut or push, but I don't think that's needed. After I hunt it back, if I hunt it back directly, these two black stones are relatively light. So I can use a Tori here, and if white captures them, I get the Panuki here. So that's not a big deal. And that's the main benefit of exchanging these first. And white just has terrible shape here. For the same reason, I'm probably just going to push directly, and then that way I can also still treat these two black stones relatively lightly. And I can just ignore all of that. Yeah, I got all these moves in Zente, and strictly speaking, white's not even alive in this local area. This opponent is playing very strange moves. I'm not understanding any of these moves. Like straight from the beginning as well. They were very strange moves. So yeah, at this point they're just kind of dying everywhere. Well, yeah. I'm still gonna Hane though. It's a cleaner capture. And I'll just give white this Atari. It's whatever. Yeah, white definitely started with a very big deficit and right off from the beginning, but still this type of resistance is not what I expected from a 5D. Not to criticize my opponent too much, but these moves were quite bad right from probably this start point. It's different when, like, if you start with a not very good opening like this one, the moves that come after become very important, and it's really not an excuse because a lot of the players play strange openings or unorthodox openings, but most of these players are still able to handle the mid game very well, and that's actually a main asset when you play a relatively unorthodox opening, because your opponent won't really know what you're trying to do, and there's always the element of surprise. But now white's just dying everywhere, so this is there's no surprise there. Okay, at this rate, I might just skip over the rest of this game because this opponent is just playing very unreasonably. Right here in the upper left, I'm maneuvering the attack by extending. This is a common way to respond to the attachment, especially when black is relatively weak here. You see white having many stones in the surroundings. So I'm definitely okay giving white a decent amount of benefit here, because I did Tanuki many times in this area. And in this type of game, there's very little value in the center regions. So if you keep playing in the center like this, and giving up territory, you won't really be gaining anything from the influence. Wow, okay. that was actually a relatively quick game, but I definitely wasn't really impressed by what white did on the right side. It seems to be a suicide mission. Oh, yes! Yes! Here we go! That's what I'm talking about. Let's go to 6 God. Okay, I definitely got too excited there, but without risking this video being too long, and I also want the 6 God adventures to be separate and special, let's do a different opening and save this for the first game of the next video. Alright, same account, don't even have to log out. After that very crazy opening endeavor, let's do another game. As I mentioned before, I have been nervous handling this type of opening for a while now. The amount of opening diversity is still super high at a 5D level. I've seen so many different things, and just you can get so creative, and I just love seeing these things. When you play against other pros, it's just every game is the same, which makes it so boring. And especially if you watch professional matches now, the amount of similarity Go is now compared to pre-AlphaGo is just so it's crazy. It's just the opening is pretty much non-existent. It's just star point 3-3 invasions, or star point 3-4 point and 3-3 invasion. I wish Go was different, but it couldn't escape the I guess what happened to chess, that there's definitely less choices now for the opening. I mean, before you could just pick whatever you want. There's Kobayashi opening. There's you can pick I don't know, the Shusaku opening, just anything you want. And yeah, now it's really hard to do it without falling behind for high level games, which is really unfortunate. And actually, that is one of the reasons why I began this series. Is I wanted to remind everyone that Go can be really fun. You could play many different openings in Go, and well, hopefully you guys can also play different openings after watching this series. So let me know if you try out some of these openings during your own games. So I'm keeping the attack on Black's group here. I think I'll jump actually right now, because another extension move here, being Sente for Black, isn't very useful. I kind of want to answer, but then I also feel like Tanuki. Maybe I'll just Tanuki now, and then maybe we'll come back later to keep pressuring this group. Right after I invaded, I'm pretty much attacking black, which makes black's influence completely useless. Interesting. Will my opponent double Hane or extend? Oh, okay, nice. I think that might be a good move. Right. Let me see how we deal with this. Guess I'm just okay with capturing. Yep, the corner is actually decently bigger compared to the other variation for white. So I think this is just okay. The reason why the inner cut depends on the ladder is because white can actually extend out, and then black must be able to capture the two white stones that way. If white had the ladder, black won't be able to capture the white two stones after white extends to the left directly. Why do people cross-cut when they don't have the ladder? That's also just, I bet, something that people remembered, just memorized instead of actually fully looked at. Yeah, because when you cross-cut and your opponent just ladders you, it's actually quite a terrible result. I mean, you can tell by this result here. White gets the Tanuki and Sente. The block here is Sente, and yeah, black doesn't really gain anything from this. I already feel like I'm winning by a lot because of this upper fight as well as this lower left variation. Black's spending 2 moves here, which also aren't really doing much. And we take another corner. If you compare the moves here, black spent 2 moves here, and then white spent a move to take the corner. Same thing in the lower left. White spent 2 moves, then black spent a move to take the corner. Now, compare these two corners, and you can see here, like, black has actually 2 points in the corner. White has about 10 points. And the outside is just not comparable for black and white. So, if you just ignore everything on the lower side, then you can tell very easily that white is definitely winning this game. I said the lower side is 2 points, but I didn't want black to get the turn, so I'm going to block and then later on just descend to capture black. Sorry, not to capture black, but to pressure the group. Maybe I'll do another Kasumi here. These forcing moves will help out in the center, especially if I ever decide to sacrifice the white stones here, then all these forcing moves would be helpful. Okay, that was a bad move because we have this Tsuji right here. Black cannot block, so then we pretty much gained at least 15 points here on the right side. I didn't respond to black's descent because the corner is still ko. So even when I Tanuki, I can just come back later and protect. It takes black 2 moves to capture the corner, and if you divide those 2 moves up, right, each move is only going to be around 15 points, which is only a decently big endgames. It's not as urgent as like a move in the center or something like this. Although at this point, since I'm leading by a big margin, it does. I do have the urge to just block that because then there will be no ko's. So the jump here is a very clear move. There's another good option of attacking the 2 black stones on the bottom. That's also a good option. One thing I could do is actually start the ko, capture the lower left, and then let black capture the upper right. It would be like a pretty fair trade, I think. Black spent 3 moves in total, including the descent here to capture white. and then white would have spent 2 moves to capture the lower left. Yeah, I think that would be still a good trade for white. The other thing I could do is just attack black on the bottom, and then try and get the center moyo. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now with this move. Okay, my internet connection is being a little weird, so that's where, if you see a little bit of flashing, that's the Fox server trying to reconnect once in a while. Yeah, sure, I'll respond to that because black cutting is sente. Hane. Okay, yeah, that's a really good move. This is the type of moves that I expect to see at 5D level. Good Sabaki move, this double Hane. If black extended, white can just enclose, and that would be very boring. But this attachment double Hane is very good to Tsuji in a Sabaki situation. I'm also tempted to just capture the bottom now. If black Atari's here, after white cuts and connects, black has to spend another move to live the lower group, but then the middle group would pretty much die. So after the push and cut, black shouldn't be able to deal with both. And this is definitely a good result for white, since we just got the bottom in sente as well, because black has to keep running. I'm guessing black will Atari in the middle here. Okay, Houston overtime. Yep, expecting this Atari and then some type of connection move. Yep. Should I start the ko? I want to play a move in the center here, because I've been looking at this push and cut for a while. I'm not sure if my opponent was looking at that, but it seems like a pretty big move. I don't even really want to start the ko in the upper right, because there's just really big moves on the board, and starting a ko is just going to be more moves, and I don't feel like spending the extra time here, so I'm just going to just defend my territory. Let's Hane connect. Very big endgame as well as pressuring black. And then, oh yeah, this move is actually super urgent. Let's make sure we get this before our opponent does. Yeah, this type of double sentes are just so big. Okay. Let's see how much more we can gain by attacking this black group. Wait. Okay, yeah, I'll just extend. Yeah, there's the Atari, and my goal is not to capture black, it's only to attack black. Well, I guess I just keep jumping in. Keep reducing black, and then I'll come back here to protect knight's move with black answers. If black comes in here, then I'll just jump one more. Definitely have to answer that one, because I can't let black get all the way in. But I'm okay with just black reducing this middle bit. That's another reason why it's important for white to make this jump, because the center is completely safe, which means I won't really have to worry about any of that. Yeah. I can just automatically tell that my opponent didn't read out any of these variations, because after the attachment, they didn't even think about the next move, even though my Hane is a very natural response. And it's a good counter example. You definitely don't want to be playing out moves like these that lose points before you even read out what's going to happen after. It's actually a very common mistake by a lot of Dan players as well. So you can see here that black cannot connect back to the center because all of these groups are quite weak. And my opponent just spent another overtime, and that's definitely not what you want to do. You want to be reading out the variation before you actually make the extension. And is that a timeout? Yep, that was the timeout. Okay, that was I think it was a relatively smooth game. My invasion on the top was relatively aggressive, but my opponent didn't counterattack. They pretty much just defended, so that gave me a lot of free stuff in the center. And after that, white just started to gain the points by invading and then reducing the rest of black's moil. Alright, I think we have time for one more game. Let's see what the next game is. Oh my gosh. I don't think I'll be cheating if we do 2 redemption arcs. Isn't that awesome? We're gonna get 2 redemption arcs in March. Okay, let's draw another opening that's not the redemption arc. Okay, sweet. 6. Oh man, I'm so happy now. Okay, double through 5. And here we go again. It actually took me quite a while to find the opponent because I keep drawing black and my opponent keeps resigning. It's a very bad trend on Fox. I must say it's actually a very weird thing. And what do you know? We've got the Taisha. I'm hoping to. Oh, my opponent connected on top. I'm hoping to get a lot more of these when we get to 5, which is actually just 2 games. We're 16 out of 18, which means after this game, we're only 1 game away. And we also see that mistake again. Remember that black shouldn't have blocked here because white still has a ladder breaker. So you would much rather put the stone on the second line here to capture. Something that I've noticed when teaching Dan players is that it's harder to correct some of the things, some of the habits, and with the more you know, the harder it is to accept new things. So that's something that I've noticed. Right here, black didn't play the correct Taisha variation. Okay, I think we'll just do A33. You might notice that for a lot of these games, I've been choosing kind of the more simpler variations in terms of Joseki. Right here, white definitely can jump out, but I feel much more comfortable just giving black some influence and then reducing it later. Now that might not be something you would do, so I just wanted to point that out because it's just something that reflects style, and it's not necessarily the only good thing to do. So I want to kind of threaten that ladder, but I think I have to extend here. I didn't really want to make this extension actually, because that's another weak group. But I think the middle is quite big, and by having a group in the center, I can also slowly reduce that. This is actually quite bad shape for black. Do I have the ladder? I don't even have the ladder after all that? Okay, fine. I'll do one more jump here. I don't think this jump is a good move because it leaves a very obvious invasion here. It's actually a good move. Not an obvious response here. Very good intuition by my opponent here. I decided to go for the outside and treat some of these stones more lightly. And also, given that there's a ladder here, this move is quite big as well. Also tempted to connect back here. Yeah, I don't want to give black this moyo. If I extend right here, black is gonna cut my stone off. What I want to do is fight here. It's quite an aggressive move because my group is obviously getting cut off here. We'll see how this sabaki goes. White has to escape now, and black's center group is also being cut off, so I can get some forcing moves over here. But before doing that, what I wanted to do was get more forcing moves on the top. And black Tanukiing here pretty much just lost the fight, pretty much. Yeah, there's no way black can Tanuki this. This fight is still very interesting though, because it's nowhere near settled. What black should have kept in mind is that even if black captures these stones in the center, if black just lets white reduce everything on the top, then the result is no doubt very bad for black. But that's definitely not something that my opponent paid attention to, because I can simply capture the stone, and it doesn't matter at all if white loses these 10 points, because originally black had what, 50 points in the center. Okay, now I think white can even just capture one of these groups. This is definitely over because this trade is not at all a trade. I just said it was a trade, but yeah, black had like 40 points up top. Now it's 10 points. Did I just get Sente here? I think I might have gotten Sente here as well. Because right now black has to protect, but white doesn't have to protect. This Atari doesn't actually work. I accidentally got Sente here. That's even worse news for my opponent. But yeah. So what's big now? Oh. Well, I think this is quite... Oh, wait. Why didn't I extend there? What am I doing? Could have just extended there. Yeah, this is very clear because 4 liberties for white on either side, and black has 3 liberties. But right here, black when black connected, white should have just extended there. Oh well. And I still can't extend the ladder. Oh man. Okay, at this point, I should probably just play very peacefully, but it's not my style. Even though I like to choose relatively clear variations, I never back down. It's the spirit of Lee Sedol. You never back down if you can win by more. Shoulder hit. Probably they're trying to cut me here, but actually this push is not Sente. So if black does have the ladder, if black pushes, I can just ignore it, which is also not a big deal. What white does have to worry about is black attacks the whole group. That is going to be a problem. Normally, I would probably Hane and connect, but since the center is quite weak, and I also wanted to choose a relatively clear variation, I decided to just play in the center. There's no extension here because after Ataring this way, white can block on the right side, which means that's not a problem. But I'm really tempted to just Atari out here, since it's Sente for black, and black didn't exchange that. It's really tempting, and I just couldn't resist the urge. Even though after black extends, the center is a lot weaker. What was that for? That didn't really achieve much at all. What? Okay. All right. So I think I might have mentioned this before, but sometimes you kind of hear me sound really surprised when I see my opponent's moves. I assure you, that is not me, the trash talking me. That's actually a habit that to have when you play Go, and it helps a lot because when you doubt your opponent's moves, you're typically more confident with your own moves, and it's a very helpful strategy actually. So it's actually a habit that I have, but it is part of the bigger strategies. Okay, cool. Okay, that was a pretty interesting game. In the beginning, right up to this point, black is doing really well. But right when we started the fight, black started to starting with this turn. Before this turn, I think black definitely had some chances. Just answering this move somehow, and then keep attacking white. After white escapes, black can keep attacking the center, and I think black is still doing quite well here. But after black turned, it really started to go downhill because white getting the first move here, white is very flexible, and if black descends, I think that's also going to be an issue because after cutting, white can play the tiger's mouth and then protecting the outside. So by forcing black to deal with the upper group, white can also make this group alive. That was my plan, at least. Alright, so we don't have to roll the next opening because we're going to have 2 redemption arcs. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and I will catch you all later.